What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. This is episode 48. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Destiny.
Speaking, what? I said hey like 3 times. It's not fucking working. Like, I watched it and it's not picking. Hey, guys, I'm here. What's up?
And okay. Darren. As he cackled to himself over there. If you're new to the show, thanks for checking us out. However you found us, thank you for being here. And that probably means you found us on either Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other major podcast subscriber. We are a video game show that talks about video games, mental health, and a bunch of other important stuff and things we find funny, silly, or just all around important, entertaining, etc. That's a long preamble for saying welcome. And we're going to start, as always, with random questions. But before we do that, on this week's show, we're going to be talking about games that aren't video games. Oh, what?
What?
Things that aren't. What is that?
What?
That clue.
What? And also, there's a whole bunch of news we're going to be going through. Cuphead's coming to PS4. Ubisoft isn't raising prices. Final Fantasy 14 is kind of free. PlayStation Plus, Ghost of Tsushima, Persona 5 Scramble, Pokemon Go. There's a whole bunch of shit, which we'll catch in a little bit. But as always, we're going to start with some random questions. I'm going to start with Destiny this week. Destiny, are you ready?
Yeah.
Great. I'm happy that you're ready.
I'm happy that you're happy that I'm ready.
Destiny.
Yeah.
If you had to design a personal massager, and I'm not talking like the sexy kind. I'm talking like a normal like personal massager that you would use to like get a kink out of your neck kind of thing, right?
Sexy kind?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not the sexy kind. That'll be a conversation for another time. This isn't
get that kink right out.
Yeah.
I feel like we already like discussed that and somebody picked Kirby.
It
might have been me, actually.
The sexy vibrators. I mean, the sexy back massagers.
The sexy vibrator. I prefer my vibrators non-sexy.
It's clinical as possible.
A back massager?
If you had to do like a back massager, but again, styled after a video game character, which video game character would your back massager be modeled after?
This is such a lame question because who really buys back massagers to actually massage their back?
I don't know. People. There's a market, right?
Okay, but who's that market going towards? Is it going to old women, old men, moms? Okay, it needs to be relatable.
To Matt.
It's going to
Matt. He's trying to not get defensive about this.
Listen, all I'm saying is sometimes you just need a good back massage, and there's nobody around to do it.
Well, I guess I would need to pick several different characters. Like if I was gonna do like if I was advertising to a group of people, it would have to be something that they would like, even if they didn't know what the game was. So maybe for a mom who's tired of her kids and her husband never puts out because he's cheating on her. I don't know. With the secretary, maybe I would pick a really hot looking game character who's not
Waluigi.
No, not at all. He's so no.
There's some
I was gonna think
shaped looking characters.
Waluigi. He's got a pretty phallic nose.
Oh my god, we're not talking about sexy vibrators.
I know.
So why are you talking about phallic character?
It's just what Darren brought up.
Darren, you perv.
It's his world. We're just developing in it.
Maybe I would pick some characters from Street Fighter. Some buff guys from Street Fighter.
They could probably work a kink out. They probably have some pretty strong hands.
Right? And then you could play on the idea that they're buff and they work out and you can have them do a whole commercial after I get through beating somebody's ass with my special move, I beat my buddy's ass.
Yeah.
Ew, that sounded dirty. I didn't say buddy.
My pal.
No, they're not friends. Anyways, guys, this question is ridiculous. I don't know. You've stomped me. I don't know.
I think Street Fighter is a pretty good answer. And you can have a total commercial where you can have different characters from Street Fighter dressed up in massage parlor robes. And they'll be
nothing else.
So wrong. It sounds so bad. I don't want to do it anymore. Darren, time for your question.
Okay. Shit. You know, I had literally had one on the tip of my tongue. I was like, okay, I got it. Darren, which video game character would you pay to clean your house, provided that they were both blindfolded and earplugged?
Oh my god.
That would have been such a good one.
And it cannot be a video game character that has first appeared in another medium. So you can't be like Daredevil.
I thought, yeah, or like Spider-Man because of Spider Sense. I was like thinking that actually. I'm like, does that count? It's fine. Easy answer. Shulk.
Shit. Why?
Because Shulk can see the future. So even if he's blindfolded and has his ears covered by some device, he can still predict the future of how his movements will affect the apartment.
So, but is his movements, like when he sees the future, is it seen in first person?
No, it's seen in third person.
Shit. I thought I had you there.
At least in the game, it looks like it's seen in third person. So, easy answer. Locked in.
Ba-bum.
Finished.
I felt so good about that question, and you just went ahead and just kind of just, you know.
Demolished it. I beat its ass.
You beat my buddy's ass.
I have a question for Matt.
All right, hit me.
Perfect, because I
All
don't.
right, Matt. Let's say that you and Senna down the line, which you will, you have some kids, right? And your kids are like just terrible in school, and you need to hire a private tutor for your kids, okay? For each subject, like the core subjects, all right? So that's like what, math, English,
science. Give me 3 or else we're going to be here for.
Okay. So math, English. Well, I think those are core.
Okay, that works.
We could do like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think history is important too, but okay, whatever.
I want to do English, math, history.
Okay. English, math,
history? History over science?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, math is.
Look, I'm just going to add
science.
it. It's my question. You have 4. All right. So, what game characters would teach each subject to your kids?
And the goal is that they get better, right?
Yes, obviously, or you're wasting your money.
I was about to pick like Pikachu for English and just send my kids right down the fucking river.
That's terrible. Cinna would fuck you up.
Yeah, she would. Okay. Video game characters to teach my kids. So English, math, science, history. Right? Those 4?
Yes,
I'm going to take that.
Yes.
Okay, yes,
I don't know what is going on, guys who are listening at home. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm responding. Fucking Craig is giving me issues.
Yeah, we're just working out some technical difficulties. Okay. For math, I'd pick Professor Layton from the Professor Layton series. I think he teaches math. I'm not about those games, but he seems Darren, fact check me on this. Does Professor Layton teach math? Darren, you've muted yourself.
I have muted myself, and now I'm no longer muted. I was trying to click the wrong button to unmute. Technical difficulties here.
Okay.
Professor Layton, he doesn't teach. He teaches a lot of things. I think he could teach math. Math is something he has taught.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, so I would pick Professor Layton for math. For
creative, like you're literally just picking like teachers and professors from games. It better not be all of them, Matt.
Shut up. For history, I'm gonna go with I forgot his name, so I just looked up his name. Ignis from Final Fantasy 15. He's one of the bros that goes around in the bro car. Super smart. Seems like an intelligent guy. Seems like he'd know some history. So I'm gonna pick Ignis for history. So I have science and what left?
You have
science and English. Science and English.
Yeah, you already did math. I thought you did that professor guy for math.
Yeah. So science and English I have left.
Okay.
For science, I would pick. Oh, hold on. I'm looking up the names of characters. I forgot the name. That's what I'm checking. For science, I would pick Dr. Hikari from Mega Man Battle Network. He was Lan, the main protagonist's dad. He developed a bunch of special science technology to help people. And so I pick him to teach my kids science.
Okay.
And then for the last one, which was English.
Like not a teacher. Just try to be creative. Just pick
I am being creative.
You're just going and finding doctors and professors and teachers.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a lot of moms would want those people as their tutors.
That's obvious. Those are obvious answers. Okay, this one you have to pick something that's not obvious.
Okay. Well, that's easy.
English.
Okay, so all of my characters so far have been pretty, straight-laced Darren's foot. Darren's foot is the only thing that I can see on screen, and I am just mesmerized by Darren's foot. That makes me feel some kind of way. For English, so I've picked some pretty straight-laced characters, some people that are going to help him learn. But for English, I want a character that's going to help him have some fun. For my English tutor, I'd pick Spyro the Dragon. I feel like his English is pretty good, and I feel like he could have some fun with my kid.
Wait,
when
does
he's
Spyro speak?
Yeah,
like a lot.
Full sentences.
I'm looking at your face right now, and it sounds like bullshit.
No, he actually does talk. He actually has like full conversations.
Full sentences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never played the game. I just know it's a purple dragon.
Yeah.
Talks a lot about nasty Nork.
Yeah, nasty Nork. That's what he talks about.
Well, hopefully they don't pick up that accent, because
yeah, he's a cool guy. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, so I pick Spyro as my last one. So
Matt,
there you
I'm
go.
proud of you.
Somebody out of left field.
Unconventional choice for your last one.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I'm saying.
What are you saying?
That's how life is sometimes. That's just how I'm choosing to get my point across. All right? Cool. All right, let's move on. Darren, let's start with you for what's new this week. You've been playing some stuff. What have you been playing?
I have gone full force into The Last of Us 2. And my prediction also, well, more 51 Clubhouse games, but
of course.
I've been playing a lot more Last of Us 2, and my first impressions are pretty good. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty in the game, survival, and I did it because it's a survival. When I'm playing a game like this, a game that is depressing and like super brutal, I want to feel like every minute is a struggle to be alive. And survival definitely feels that way. But just like my basic first impressions are, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm actually liking it better than the first game, from like a gameplay perspective. Cool. And I'm enjoying where the story's going.
AI aside, I know you've had some frustrating difficulties with some of the characters' AI.
Yeah. My partner has literally physically pushed me out of cover and gotten me caught multiple times, which is very frustrating. Because that's not my fault. I'm just sitting against a wall, and then my companion's like, "No, this is my wall now," and evicts me from my place, and then I get one shot killed by a zombie. So
that's
guns?
Fun.
Great.
What? Never mind. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
So yeah, and I can see. We're gonna actually have an episode where we go a little bit more into it, and I don't want to give spoilers to people because I hate spoilers. I will say I'm at a point in the story where I can see why some people might not be happy with where the story is at this point. And game's taken a bit of a turn, is what I'll say. I think I'm about halfway through the game.
Okay.
So,
I have an idea of where you
Uh,
are, so we'll talk about it properly once you're done.
but I'm not super happy about what I have to do now. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of a doubt until I beat the game and see why they've made these choices.
Right, why they do these things that they do. Nice, that's awesome. D, what about you? What's new? What's been going on?
So, I like to play weird indie games that you guys have never heard of. So I played this game called At Home Alone, which is a very, very, very short game, but like it got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It's like, I don't know, like 30 minutes. But basically it's like this there's this girl and her mom leaves, and it's kind of like, it's not horror to me, but her mom leaves, she's not supposed to leave, and it's like this mystery that you're supposed to figure out, which I did not figure out. I mean, I beat the game, but I still don't really know what's going on. And I think it's like you're trying to either solve how she died, or like it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's like a Japanese game and it's weird. Not that all Japanese games are weird, but this one, like, I didn't really understand, like, at the end, like, if she was trying to find her killer, because there's, like, little weird clues. And I think I knew from the beginning that she was, like, dead. But,
Right.
yeah, it was just weird, because, like, evidently, like, something happens where, like, this is when she's not dead, but you don't see this. You kind of find this out as you're playing the game. A little girl gets killed by a burglar, right? And so
Okay.
it's like she's reliving the situation. So like the game takes
Oh.
you back over and over to like a certain point, basically to where her mom's like, "Okay, I'm going out, don't leave," right? Like, don't go outside. And the little girl's like, "Okay." But I think like evidently she let someone in and like they killed her.
Oh, shit.
Because when you're playing it, like, she constantly like goes outside and then she'll invite someone into the house. And then like she invites this boy into the house, and this happens like maybe 3 or 4 times, and you hear gunshots, and then you see the boy has been killed.
So
Oh my
how are
God.
you supposed to figure the story out then? If you beat the game and like you're still not really sure, does the game like leave itself open like that, or is there like more you're supposed to do to try and get to the ending?
No,
Like not the ending, but
it just kind of like you keep progressing through the game, like it's like kind of like Groundhog's Day, but you keep
Mhm.
doing something a little different. Like it keeps giving you a little bit of different information so you can kind of figure out what happened. So I think the ideal is that she's trapped in this house and she keeps reliving the moment. But then there's something during the game that's like, this wasn't our agreement. So I don't know if she's like, she has an agreement, like an agreement with like a devil or a spirit or something to try to get revenge on the man who killed her.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird because like she keeps trying to bring someone in, and I guess she's trying to exchange their life so she can move on, but it's not the right person.
What kind of game is this? Is it like an adventure game or
It's like point and like click.
Point and
point and click
click?
Basically.
adventure?
Yeah.
Okay, very
Yeah.
interesting.
But you're in
Sounds
like,
cool.
yeah, it was really cool. So I like downloaded it and played it, and I was just like, at the end, I was just like, okay. I just didn't understand, so I tried to look up information, and then people were saying some stuff about like supposedly the boy was supposed to represent the man because like the man had red hair and the boy had red hair. But then there's other weird things that happen, like the older brother comes looking for the boy, and each time he comes looking for the boy, you just hear the gunshots, and then you run to the
Oh
balcony and the
God.
boy's dead. Yeah.
Oh.
It
Jesus
sounds,
Christ.
the way I'm saying it sounds so much better than like the graphics in the game or anything. So like I don't want people to be like, "Yo, this sounds dope," and they download it, and it's because it's like a 64-bit game. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it,
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at
I
it
don't
right
know.
now.
It was
Yeah,
really
like a
intriguing
16-bit
because I
thing.
was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
It sounds cool though.
Yeah. So it's called a home. Wait. What was it
Home
called? It's
Alone?
called At Home Alone. At Home Alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds like
Very
fun.
cool.
Did you enjoy your time with it? even
I
like
did. It was a
story
really
side?
short game, and it made me want to look up more information on it. But I
Yeah.
think maybe some stuff might have been lost in translation because it first came out in Japanese. So I found
Oh,
like
I
a
see.
version of it that was all in Japanese, and then this version, which is in English. So I'm not sure if things got lost in translation or if it's a cultural thing. You know what I mean? And maybe there's some
Yeah.
things I didn't pick up on. So yeah.
Looks like there's a sequel.
Yes, there
And
is
Home
a
Alone 2.
sequel. But I think the sequel is just the original game from what because when I looked at it, it looks like the same gameplay but in Japanese. Or maybe you're looking at something different.
No,
I'm
I think
pretty
I'm
sure
looking at
at
the
Home
same
Alone
thing.
3.
Yeah.
I think there's an At Home Alone 3 where the main character gets switched out and like the robbers are trying to get into somebody else's house.
Full of shit.
I
Because in
couldn't help
the
myself.
second game, they're in New York.
Yeah. Donald Trump shows up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he's staying in Trump Tower.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I've been doing that and
Nice.
just playing some Animal Crossing and trying to get these. Funny story is I was playing it and I didn't realize that like Pascal, like the little otter dude, was giving me clothing items. And I just didn't know where they were coming from. So I was just like, dope,
Huh.
when did I get this? Because, you're like, as you're going through the game, you're shooting balloons, you're opening presents, you're just trying to clear out your inventory. And then my best friend from back home, and she's like, oh man, I got that dress. It's so ugly. And I'm thinking like, dude, she'd fucking love this dress if she saw it. I don't know where I got it. So come to find out that there's like 4 different dresses. There's 2 dresses, but like the colors are different. So the dress she got was indeed ugly compared to the dress I got. I got like the princess ball gown. She was super upset about that. But other than that, just playing some games, leisurely playing and just enjoying. And I'm always trying out, weird stuff. So also if our listeners know of any weird games that aren't too scary, I'd be down to try them. Yeah, I'll be down to try
them.
them.
Scary is fun.
No zombies. I don't like
No zombies.
Yeah.
Destiny, have you watched a playthrough of The Last of Us?
Still playing it. And I know I'm gonna like watch the cutscenes more than like the actual gameplay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because the characters are like zombie-esque.
Yeah.
So I know of the game.
Right. So like I respect your decision to only watch like the cutscenes and like kind of read up on what happened. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's what you that's what you did.
I respect your decision. I respect it. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's what friends do. Friends, coworkers, cohorts.
Well, I never promised to play it. So that's a thing. Guys at home,
also
he's
true.
Trying to make jokes. I never promised to play it.
Listen. I'm just saying sometimes friendship has hurdles that one has to overcome. And sometimes these hurdles, they're just life,
Yeah. So Matt,
what's new with you?
What have you been up to?
I have been playing more Paper Mario and more Ghost of Tsushima. I'll start with Paper Mario. I'm a good chunk of the way through the game. I think I'm coming up on 3/4 of the way done. Like I'm pretty sure I'm heading into the last or the second last area. The game continues to be super adorable. The writing continues to be great. Exploring and everything, I have a blast. And like I really, really, really like the game. The boss fights are tough at times, but really interesting and a lot of fun. And I actually really, really enjoy doing the boss fights. The regular fights can jump off a cliff. I'm fucking done. I am done with those normal ass fights. Sometimes I figure it out, and if I can't figure it out in the first 10 seconds, I pay them off to figure it out for me. And that's something that I really, really like about the game, is that like Senna actually enjoys those puzzles a bit. Like she is actually feeling the same way. We're almost the same spot in the game, and she's loving it. She's like heads over heels with it. She really, really enjoys it. But again, the regular fights just get really tiresome after a certain point. So what I do is there's a mechanic that you can pay the toads, and money isn't really a problem in the game at any point. So I just pay the toads the maximum amount that I can pay them, and they solve the puzzle for me, and then I just attack because I'm fucking
puzzles.
I don't want it.
You really don't like puzzles.
I hate puzzles. Puzzles are not my shit. So like I'm really glad that the game gives me.
I was gonna say really quickly that when I was playing when I was watching my mom play The Last of Us 2 yesterday, and then we were going through the accessibility options in the game and saw that there was a way to skip puzzles. And we're both like, yeah, I bet Matt turned that on.
I fucking played that game completely normally.
Oh,
I did all the puzzles. But come on, like Last of Us isn't really known for its puzzles. Like I figured shit out there. But and especially because like I don't mind a puzzle here and there, but this is puzzles. The puzzle solving is one of its main mechanics.
2 feet.
And it's literally every 2 feet. So I'm really glad that the game doesn't punish me for not wanting to do it. Because fuck that. I'm done with that. I'm done. I'm done with those puzzles. The other one I've been playing is Ghost of Tsushima. I'm loving it. I'm so surprised at how much I'm enjoying it because I was excited for the game leading up to it, but I wasn't like, I need this right now. And now it's gotten to the point where it's like all I think about. Like I just want to play more. The combat is so satisfying. The story has been really interesting so far. These side quests are probably some of the best side quests I've ever played in any video game. Like it's not quite Witcher level, but it's almost there that like each side quest feels meaningful. And if they're not particularly meaningful, then they're quick. It's literally like, it's not like I have to go 5-minute run down the map. It's like 30 seconds away, cut some people up and come back. But like they're all built around story and they're super, super well implemented. And the movement is great. I am really, really enjoying it. And the biggest shocking thing about this game are the friggin' load times. They're non-existent. Once you load into the game, there's nothing. And I'm talking even fast travel. I literally timed it yesterday from the point that I clicked on the map to the point that I loaded in was like 3.5 seconds.
wow.
Whoa.
For a massive open world game, and I'm playing on PlayStation 4 Pro, so I'm not sure how much of a caveat that is against a regular PS4, but it's so fast. It's so fast for a big open world that's like has as much going on for it as Ghost does. Like I was reading a story that the developers actually made the loading times longer because they was loading so fast that people couldn't read the hints on screen. So like,
wow, I've never heard of that one before.
That to me is wild. I love the game, and I'm really surprised by how much I'm enjoying it. So, which is why I'm going to throw in our first news segment here. I'm going to be
before you go into news.
Yep.
No, you did such a good job with that perfect segue, and I'm going to just crap all over it because I am begging to ask a Paper Mario question. Just I wish everyone could see Matt's face and his just pure displeasure for me doing this.
Go on.
Are we doing news first?
I'm just tossing a news story in now because I'm talking about Ghost of Tsushima. Well, I was talking about Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, now we're talking about Paper Mario. Go ahead, Darren.
There was a lot of controversy when Paper Mario was coming out from old time fans talking about how there's no experience point system in the game because you just get coins. So I want to know, is there a way that coins kind of work as a replacement to experience? Like, are there permanent upgrades to make yourself stronger in battle?
So the way that the coins, the reasons that you need the coins is for items. Like items are pretty much your replacement for upgrades. The items,
so it is consumable items.
It is consumable items. So like you have like your boots and your hammer, which are by default can't break, but then it goes kind of Breath of the Wild territory where every weapon past that has a certain number of uses. And you can find some laying around in the environment, but if you want to be stocked up, you need to buy them. And then there are other things that like you'll come across in the story that you'll have to pay to do shit. Right. But there is no, and again, like I think it kind of works given how they've set up the battle system, because like if you were able to pay to basically beat the puzzle and then just clean out the enemies and then get experience for it, then like farming experience would get really broken really, really quickly. So I can understand why they might not have gone that route if they were making the battle system the way that they were, with an option to skirt around it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
To not make this segment go too long, I will not respond. I will say that I'm a little sad.
I get it. And I wish there was a more traditional battle system, period, than this ring shit.
Yeah.
If they wanted to make the bosses different, that's completely cool. But like, it just gets so cumbersome.
It's still probably beneficial to like skip battles, or you actually want to do battles.
You would have no reason to do battles once you have enough money. Zilch. There's no fucking reason for it.
Okay, cool.
All right. Jumping over to my news story. Quick.
Matt, can I just cut you off really quick to say
Yes,
something?
Destiny.
All right.
Yeah.
So like before he jumps in the news, I just wanted to say, like I forgot to say earlier, like I've also been watching Vikings. So anybody who watches Vikings, hit me up because that shit is dope. All right,
I've
sorry,
heard
Matt.
it's really good. I've heard it's really
It
good.
is so good, dude. I binge watched like 5 episodes and I was up till like 4 a.m. It was ridiculous. All right.
Dang, maybe I'll have to give it a watch.
You do. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Ghost
News.
of Tsushima coming from IGN
Actually,
by
Matt,
way
sorry,
of
one more
Wesley
thing.
LeBlanc. Darren has been kicked from this podcast. I sent his ass down river.
I just want to say you're doing a great job. You should go on to news.
I hate everyone. Ghost of Tsushima update brings new difficulty and additional accessibility options to the game. Wesley writes, an update for Ghost of Tsushima will bring a new lethal difficulty mode and more accessibility options for reading text and more forgiving combat intensity. This update, patch 1.05, brings a new lethal difficulty to the game and accessibility options that lower the intensity of the combat. So basically, what they're doing is they're adding a more difficult setting and they're also adding an easier setting. I know some people wanted this game to be a little more Dark Soulsian in terms of its combat. I don't find it super difficult. I find the difficulty kind of comes from more figuring out which stances to use when and how to kind of come at an enemy rather than how beefy they are. I've heard that the game does get tough and it's like upper difficulties because I'm just playing on normal. So having that challenge there for people who want it is great. And then also making it much easier and more forgiving for people who just want to focus on the story and running around the island is super cool. And I'm glad that this came so quickly after the game's release.
Yeah, the way the difficulty works sounds actually dope, and I'll probably play the game that way because not only does it make enemies stronger, it makes you stronger too. So it kind of tries to make it more of like a realistic approach where like everything takes like 2 sword strikes to kill, including yourself. So it's like a
Nice.
who hits first kind of thing, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it scales properly then, it sounds like.
So the stances are really appropriate, and it continues with what she said about like how you approach the enemy matters.
Yeah, and like I'm never one for switching out like weapons and stances and stuff. In most games, I usually pick a style and run with it. It's absolutely integral in playing this game, and I am having so much fun with it. But I'll keep you guys posted because I think I'm coming kind of near the end of Act 1, so I'll keep you guys posted as I continue. Let's hop into our main segment for this week. Destiny, I want you to give us a bit of the preamble this time because you wanted to talk about games that aren't video games. I don't get it. What do you mean?
I know this is like a foreign concept to you both, but
What?
evidently, after doing some research, I saw that a long time ago, people would play games that weren't hooked up to electricity.
They
See,
hooked it
now
up to
I
they
think
hooked
you've
it up to
lost me here.
themselves?
Yeah, because when I'm saying like, are there 16-year-olds that I can yell obscenities to at in these games?
I mean, you could, but you have more chance of getting hit because it's like face to face. There's like not a screen in front of you. It's it's a little crazy. But I found out that like there are some quite enjoyable games that you can play by yourself or with friends and family that family friendly. There's also some that are not so family friendly. And so today we're going to talk about some of these games that we like playing that are outside the realm of, video games. Basically.
So let me tell you about this game that I like. It's called Persona. And in that game...
No.
In all seriousness, D, what are some of your favorite non-video games? No, non-video games. I'm just going to call them games. What are some of your favorite games?
Favorite games. So some of my
games.
I'm gonna give like a little synopsis. All right, so one of my favorite games to play with my friends is Cards Against Humanity. Like I fucking love that game. I wouldn't say that that's a family friendly game unless you're like all adults and you're okay with like some of the shit that's on these cards. But I love Cards Against Humanity. It used to be online. You could play it online with people, but I much prefer playing it with people, like in person, because it's easier to deduct who's doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And And I think it's a lot easier to play with people you kind of know. Like if you know somebody really well and you get their sense of humor, you're going to figure out what their cards are. But I think it's a good game to like be an icebreaker
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
bunch
Yeah.
of people.
I also really like it because like especially playing like next to people, you'll see people start to break as these ideas formulate in their mind. I like how many times I've seen Darren like starting to snicker before he even plays anything, and I'm just like, there's gonna be some good shit in there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So Cards Against Humanity, I just, I don't know what happened there. But Cards Against Humanity is one of my favorite ones. I
Darren,
love.
hold on before you go on, Darren.
Oh,
How do you feel about Cards Against Humanity?
oh,
Let's ask Darren.
I love it, and I want to just parrot what Destiny's saying about playing it with people, because I think the reason why we enjoy tabletop games is for that in-person experience, and especially with something like Cards Against Humanity. I think while the cards can be funny innately, I think what makes them funnier is that you are experiencing it with people that you know and understand their senses of humor, and you're not just playing the game, you're playing off each other. And so that's why I like playing it so much, because just having a good time with your friends.
We should totally do a episode of BOB Games playing Cards Against Humanity.
good.
So D, what else? What else tickles your pickle?
I also like Uno, but so you remember when we were talking about like getting violent during games, and I was like, I don't get
Yep.
violent during games. I actually get very angry playing Uno. Like that's literally the only game I get super pissed off about, and it makes me very vengeful. Like when somebody fucking throws a draw 4, I'm so angry. Or when everybody teams up against you, I fucking hate that. Like I will leave a game.
I gotta give a massive shout out to Aaron, because when I think of Uno, I immediately think of my family and him, because we played the living shit out of Uno. Like we'd have like family tournaments when we were younger up at the cottage, and like if my dumbass younger brothers ever actually listened to this, I remember all the times you cried. I remember all the times you walked out of the room because your bitch ass got beat. Bitches.
Put you on blast. I've never cried, but I've definitely felt betrayed by close friends. And I think that's what it is. The betrayal is so bitter. Like you guys are like having a good time, and all of a sudden they throw out like 2 draw 4 cards, and then they fucking have the audacity to apologize like they didn't mean to do it. They've been planning it from the beginning.
And it's like, they came at you with those draw 4s. Like they could have played it last turn when like the order reversed, but they were waiting to come at you,
I honestly think the best way to avoid a situation like that and avoid people being pissed off at you is everyone, cut the bullshit. Everyone's going to be playing to win. So everybody just be as like merciless as possible. And you can't be mad because everyone's playing to win. Don't like apologize. Be like, yeah, I know. This is the rules. I'm doing it.
Even worse, because you're not fucking sorry.
You're not fucking sorry.
So
Darren,
that's one of them.
Darren, what about you? What's one of your favorites? Let's kind of go around and toss them out, like all together. So Darren, what's one of your favorite tabletop games?
Well, so I feel like I should go a little bit. Oh, okay. What I'm gonna say is that like I love tabletop games, and I started playing tabletop games a lot more as I got older.
When there wasn't even a tabletop to play them on.
There was a point where there wasn't a tabletop and people would play just on any flat surface. I know you're making jokes.
I played them when they were just called top games.
I played them when we just played them on the floor.
They were floor top games.
Shooting craps back in the 50s.
But like, I started playing these games because a lot of like video games started losing like split screen functionality. I was looking for like a way to like enjoy the in-person experience, and so I started playing a lot of strategy, like very like rule heavy board games, and I think Settlers of Catan was a gateway into that, where it's like a nice balance between like accessibility and like strategy. So I played a lot of Settlers of Catan, except one of my favorite board games to play, I have to give a shout out to my brothers, is Eldritch Horror, which is a cooperative game where you're playing against the board based on the H.P. Lovecraft mythos, and it is exceedingly obtuse, it's exceedingly random, and it's exceedingly difficult, and you win about like 25% of the time that you play the game. But just the experience of being like somehow simulating like a survival horror experience and trying to build stories through the like process of playing a board game was just such a unique, interesting concept to me. And like I haven't been able to replicate that since.
Yeah,
Not
no, for
even
sure.
when you
Really
played
cool.
the game again, it was just not the same.
I meant
I know,
I
I'm just
meant
being
like with,
stupid. Sorry.
okay.
Matt, what about you?
For me, one of my, I have a really strong like love-hate relationship with Avalon. For anyone who's ever played
Oh my
Avalon,
God.
it's basically like Mafia or Werewolf, kind of like, you know, everybody has a role. Good guys don't know who's on the good team, and they're trying to figure out who's on the bad team. Bad guys know who's where and and are manipulating, and essentially like you're going on these missions to try and you know, clear a certain number of wins. And I have really fond memories of that game when things went well, and deep scars on my very heart and soul
Sorry.
from when it went very wrong. And I'm gonna give a shout out to my friend Mido, because he broke my heart in that game in a way that still like bothers me to this day. We had a special bond, and he swore to me on that special bond that he wasn't lying to me. So I believed him, and he pulled me along. I was a fool. I was a fool, and he lied to me, and he broke me down and just left me in the gutter at the end of the game. And I was one of the reasons my team lost. And like, but like when that game is running, the feeling of playing it is incomparable. Like it's so funny, and especially like Darren, you and I have gotten each other's faces a few times playing that game, and it's just like it's funny because like the game will end and then it's back to nothing but love. But while we're in that game, we are ready to kill each other because of what's going on.
It's like a secret role game like Mafia or Werewolf or something like that, where like one person's a secret killer and everyone's gonna figure out who it is. So you're all yelling at each other and throwing accusations to who's lying, and it's not healthy.
It's not, because like we have gotten into it playing that game before, and like
Those games are not games that you two should be playing at all, because when we had our little thing where you had to try to figure out who the alien was, you guys got upset with each other, and you're like,
my bad.
"It's not
I'll
me.
take ownership for that.
Not lying. I'm not the alien, guys."
We worked that out. It was fine. Everything was fine.
We haven't played it
My
since,
bad.
though. I just want everybody to know that.
And we're not going to play it anymore.
No.
But like Avalon.
Can you also explain what this game is? Because I don't know. Is it like D&D?
No, so basically like it goes around and like everybody gets a card, and like you pick up the card and you're like you're either blue team or the red team, right? And then basically the blue team doesn't know who anybody is, and they're trying to figure out who's on the blue team. The red team knows who else is on the red team, but that's not made evident to anyone. Like it's a secret. So the red team are trying to manipulate the blue team into thinking that they're on the same team, while also trying to push forward certain objectives. So like, do you remember when we played Werewolf, D? It would have been like, it's similar to that, where you're trying to figure out who's actually on your side and who isn't.
I remember playing that because nobody really knew me, so they couldn't tell if I was bluffing or not. Good times.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, a shout out to Shane, because we played a particularly brutal game of Secret Hitler, which again is basically the same thing as Avalon, where he actually messaged me about it the next morning being like, I can't stop thinking about how horribly I was lied to yesterday. And like, he still messages me every few months being like, dude, I was in the shower and I just got depressed all over again because of what happened. Like, those games can leave such deep marks in the funniest way possible. So I want to give a shout out to Avalon and Secret Hitler and Mafia and any kind of vein of those type of games, because like playing those are some of my favorite memories, but also some of my most hurt ever.
I think you guys
I'm
like
fine.
need therapy from it. Like when a game
Sometimes.
becomes not fun and becomes toxic.
Well, yeah, because the thing is like, and when you're talking about the time where I flipped out angry at our little alien game, is that it's so easy, like make it personal in your head because you're like, this person is lying to me, but it's like those are the rules of the game, and I think I realized after the fact that I've pulled that shit on Matt before, where I was the one who was like, oh, like I swear, like I'm super serious right now, like I'm not lying, I'm good. And then when it happened to me, I'm like, I can't handle this. So it's like you don't know.
Nobody likes to be telling the truth and then have somebody say that you're lying and then other people start to agree. You know what I mean? Like even if it's in a game. Like that's not a good feeling. So, but I mean, I get that's what those games are about, but I feel like they're definitely there to kind of fuck with you mentally. You know what I mean? And Matt's really good
100%.
at like, because he had everybody believing, and I think that's what was really like bothering you because nobody believed you. Everybody believed Matt.
It hurt.
So. It hurt.
I'm like, well,
I know it hurt.
Who's on the other foot this time? Who's on the other foot? And I can't. I'm bad at losing.
Sucks to your Asmar. Throwing a little Lord of the Flies. D, what about you? Let's come back to you. What's another game? What's another tabletop game that stands out to you?
Stood out to me because it was like the first game that I played, and I was really little, but it was Monopoly Junior, and I fucking loved it. I hate normal Monopoly, by the way.
Why Monopoly Junior compared to normal Monopoly?
I don't know. I think because there's just too much money involved. And now that I'm older, it really bothers me to lose money. But like when I was a kid playing Monopoly Junior, like it's like it didn't bother me as much. Plus I played against my brother and he was terrible, so I would always win. So maybe it's playing against people who like are like, you know, really good at Monopoly. Plus, I think Monopoly is more like a chance game. Like you have to land on the right thing, and then you have to have enough money, and then no. I think
Would you say that you like chance-based like board games better, or do you like a little bit of strategy? Like, what style of game do you like?
I played a board game that required. Well, no, I guess Sorry kind of requires strategy, which I do like Sorry. Because like, you know, everybody's trying to knock you back. So you have to figure out like how far you want to like which piece you want to move and how close that is to another person. I know that's like very basic strategy, but like I get really into that. Like how close is the next person? Because if they land on you, they bump you out and then you're all the way back home and then it's like sorry. But they're not fucking sorry.
Not fucking sorry at all.
Not fucking sorry at all. But
you said you had
I do
one
like
more
some
game?
strategy games because I like checkers and I feel like checkers is a strategy game.
Oh, for sure. Checkers is awesome.
Yeah, so I do like that.
I was always more team chess. I grew up on chess, but I get you checkers people. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I love checkers. Chess has too many. I like played it for a little bit, but like checkers, I think there's less rules. And chess has like a lot of like I feel like chess is more strict. Like checkers seems more casual. It's like the casual cousin. Chess, the casual cousin of checkers, the casual cousin of chess. Yeah.
They should put that on the box.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I liked playing that too. I hated playing with my cousin because she was older than me and she would always beat me. But like I'm such a like I don't know. I think I've changed. Like now I don't care if I lose. I'm like fuck it. But like when she would beat me, I would get so upset. We would play like for hours.
I think it's something inherently different about losing to siblings or like family as well. Like losing to friends. Like if I lost to one of you guys, it's something I'd be like, all right, well shit happens. If I lost to one of my brothers, I'd be like, I'll murder you in your sleep.
Yeah. Like I was like she used to piss me off so much. like so much. But yeah, no, I guess I do like a little bit of strategy, but nothing where I'm like fucking racking my brains, because then it's not really fun anymore. You
Mhm.
know, I like to keep it
Just keep
casual
too
and
many
fun.
rules straight in your head.
Yeah, like actually, Uno has a lot of well, they have their own basic rules, and then people over time have made like tons of different rules for Uno.
Yeah.
You know,
They've added like mods to Uno.
yeah, it's like really weird. But that's how I felt when we were playing fucking, and I should say this one because we all play it. We used to all play it at fucking Thursday party, but beer pong. Like I literally
Yeah.
thought fucking beer pong was just throw the pong or the ping pong ball in the cup, right? So the first time I played it with you guys, you were like, no, actually there's this, and then you have to do a trick flip. And I was like, what the fuck is all this shit? Like, why can't I just throw the ball? And if I miss, then I miss. Because I almost like beat the shit out of Chantel because I thought she was cheating.
Yeah, you did. You went at her hard and fast.
Yeah.
Darren, what about you? What's another one that stands out to you?
You've all brought up such like really good games, and I remember like playing all these board games. And I personally prefer strategy games, games with a lot more random elements, and it's not because like obviously I do like being strategic, and I do like coming up with like plans even if they don't like pan out. But for me, I like it because I'm such a stickler for following rules. And if there's like too much randomness in a board game, I feel like if I lose, it's a little frustrating because you're like, well, I tried, but like just like I didn't roll the right dice or like the cards didn't like work out. And that's why I think I have so many problems. Like I mentioned Catan, and Catan has like a huge influence on like the board games I play now, but I don't really enjoy playing it anymore because you can have such great strategy and you could just like roll dice bad and then just like never get any resources, or someone can just like block you off and you can't do anything for the whole game. So, like I find it very frustrating to play. I would be remiss if I didn't give a very short shout out to the granddaddy of all board games that I like to play now, which is Dungeons and Dragons. But I think that it's such a big concept. We'll save it for when Alistair's on. We can have a good Dungeons and Dragons discussion. Yet that would be like my ultimate board game that deserves its own time to shine. So for like one more board game that I like to play, that really, really like, influenced me, would probably be, I'm gonna go off an entirely different direction and say President card game.
Nice. I love President.
You ever play President, Destiny?
Drinking game?
Did it?
The
No,
card game.
it's
No, there's a card game.
the card.
Okay, explain it and then I'll tell you if I drank to it.
Okay, so it's basically like everybody has a set of everybody has the whole deck of cards, I think, amongst them, and one person plays like two. If one plays a person like a 4, and then you have to play a card that's higher than it.
Okay.
And you keep going around until no one can play a card, and then the person who played the last card gets to start again. If someone plays 2 4s, and someone has to play 2 of the same card higher than it. Yeah. And it's about who can get rid of their hand first.
That's how
So you're always
I declare war.
It's like war, except is like because in war you can't see what card you're going to play, right?
Yeah, you can't see what card you're going to play.
Yeah,
it's like the same. It's basically the same thing, except you can see what cards. So
it's almost like Uno, but there's more end game. Kind of like, because then like after you lose, like once the round is over, like the person who went out first like has to trade a certain amount of cards with the person who lost, and then it's like you're switching out your best cards and shit, and it becomes this entire game of trying to like claw your way from the bottom up to the top.
Okay.
And so
okay, I don't know if I drank to this. I feel like I drank to something called President, and there's like a president, a vice president, or maybe I'm thinking of bullshit. I'm probably thinking of bullshit.
It could be similar, but just under a different name. I've also heard this called like Tycoon. It's also been called like some other games. I think I've heard people call it Ass. something
Yeah.
like that, and so it's got like a bunch of different names. But like I picked this game because this like Catan was my first like handmade tabletop game that was like strategy. And sure, then like I want to give quick shout outs to like Power Grid and Ticket to Ride and the Game of Thrones board game and like the of all these other like big strategy games. Scythe is a really cool game. The Doom board game's actually really great. But it all started with President because that's the first card game I played that had like a little bit of randomness with the cards you started with. There's still like a ton of strategy to like figure out which card you want to play first. And then like the excitement of you winning and then the person in last place has to give you their best cards, or then losing and giving up your best cards and being like, no, this time I'm going to win. I'm going to be the president. And I played this like so many times in elementary school with friends, just like at recess. And I think this was like before I went to elementary school with you, Matt. I think this was like even like in grade 3 and 4 where I just like round after round after round of like playing president and like camps. So you could play it for like hours. It would just be like so much fun. Just a bonding experience between me and my friends. It was really good, like
just bonding,
making people want to play together.
Yeah, just bondage.
Just bondage.
You know?
Sounds good. I mean, like everybody's
That's
into
like-
a little bit of bondage.
Especially at camp.
Ooh,
A little bit of subjugation.
what happens at camp stays at
I just
camp.
want to be
at band camp.
I hated that because I've been to band camp and we do not do shit like that. And I don't even know how she could even masturbate with a flute. There are so many things on a flute that had to be fucking uncomfortable. Anyways, Matt.
Yeah. I'm going to, I want to quickly touch on deck building games really quick before I jump into my last one, because stuff like Millennium Blades is a ton of fun, but stuff like I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up on Magic. Those things, like I even still have an itch
how
to
could I forget about those?
Right? I still have an itch going to those sometimes, and like just the battles and being like getting a new card and then being like, hey buddy, you want to play another round of Yu-Gi-Oh? It's totally not different than last time we played. And it's like, inside that you have some new shit that's going to do some fucking damage. Deck building games
While
are
your
awesome.
mystical elf was casting a spell the whole time.
Exactly. And then like fucking I played it all the time with my brothers. We used to play it back at recess. And like I love deck building games. But Destiny, you already brought it up, but I have to come back to beer pong because that is my ultimate, even more than D&D, that is my ultimate tabletop game. I have such a massive love for it, and like the amount of different rules that like there's different ways people play and just learning different styles and stuff. I always like to go back to my style, but like I have to give a shout out to like Jason and Brad and Mick, because like the first stint in Korea, we played literally multiple times a week at Thursday Party, which was the bar that we always went to, and like our friendship like was forged in the fires of beer pong and the tournaments, and how like mad there was literally a night where we had a beer pong tournament, like an official one set up by the bar, and I played with my good friend Jess, and Jess and I ended up winning the whole tournament, but we beat Jason and Mick in the first round, and Jason and Mick got so mad they didn't talk to us for the rest of the night. Not like actually mad, but like jokingly mad, and we just kept rubbing it in their faces.
Probably
The
why
amount
they
of
didn't
nights-
talk
Take
to
a moment
you.
to
Like, because they were salty about losing. They were just joking. Like, they weren't actually upset. But, like, they were like, we're not talking to you anymore. Anyways, like, let's keep having this conversation. And Matt's totally not here. Don't worry about it. Like, they were just being big old bitches. What, Darren?
Can you take a moment to like actually explain or beer pong rules? Because, like, I had never heard of the way you played the game before.
Yes.
Like,
I feel like
everybody
you
that I
guys
played
like
beer pong
added
with-
a bunch of stuff to it. No, I'm just agreeing with you, Darren. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because like their rules are kind of weird. Never
Okay.
met anyone who played with these rules before.
Well, if I'm going to slam a target on my back online, it might as well be for beer pong. So, like, to preface, these are rules that, like, I played with since university. So this wasn't, like, a thing that I sat up by myself and cooked up these rules. These rules were, like, started at university, and then with the guys, with Mick, Brad, and Jason, we kind of solidified them. But basically, the way I play beer pong is that there is no fingering, meaning you can't lift the ball back out of the cup once it goes in with your finger, or blowing, so you can't blow it back out. Bounces are 2 cups. No matter how many bounces there are, it'll always be 2 cups, right? Cut 2 balls in different cups. Balls back, your team gets to shoot again. 2 balls in the same cup, that's 3 cups, and then you get to shoot again. Redemption works, that is just 1 cut back in. Each of your teammate has a shot. If as long as 1 lands, the game continues. And bounces can be blocked with slaps. You can knock that shit way out of there. And rollbacks for trick shots has to be on table past half. And that's basically Matt's rules for beer pong.
No
Like,
island
and that's
call out.
And no
basically what it is. Like, none of that's like crazy and convoluted. So, but you guys, you had rules from university, and then you 3 came up with more rules.
Yeah, we augmented some rules.
See, that
and
makes
stuff
me
because
upset because when we were playing, the way you made it fucking seem was like these are just the normal rules for like fucking beer pong, and they're not.
Listen,
They're not
whoever
the fucking normal rules for beer pong.
Whoever I have to lie to get my way with beer pong, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, now it all comes out.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's the best way to play.
See, he did the same thing to me too. Did the same thing to me. He's like, yeah, this is like beer pong rules. So we're gonna play beer pong, and it's like this is the way it's always been done. And I'm like, okay,
That's how
it's accepted.
because I was pretty sure like there wasn't all this extra stuff. Like when I've played it before, but not like I'm not like a connoisseur of it like Matt. But never have I played with anybody who could reach their hand into the cup just because it hadn't touched the beer yet. So that when Chantel did that, okay, guys. So the story is that I fucking threw and it like went into the cup and it was like swirling a little bit, and she like reached her hand in and grabbed it, and I lost my shit because it was in the cup. Like, who would do that?
Yeah,
like, you can't do that in basketball. Like, if it's like on the sim, you can't like pop it back out. Like, I think that's bullshit. I hate that rule.
So I don't play with that rule, but we didn't clarify with her that you couldn't do that before, which is why there was confusion. But it is quite a common way to play. Like I've played with a lot of people who play like that. I just don't like it. Not because I'm bad at it or anything.
Say like blowing is okay, but fingering is not.
Yeah.
And
is that considered fingering?
Yeah, that's what fingering is. Is when you finger the ball back out of the cup.
Why did you let her do it?
Because I didn't tell her before we played that we couldn't. That was my fault for not solidifying rules before we started, because that was like one of the first games we ever played together. So for me being like, I didn't say that you couldn't do it, so I'm gonna let it slide this one time, and then she never was allowed to do it again. Because beer pong. That's just the way you play. What can I say? Those are the rules. That's
bullshit. I feel like, if you do something and you didn't solidify it, like, hey, we can't do that, like, put her ball back in the cup. Because either way, I actually got it in the cup, and I feel like it would have been, I want everybody's opinion. I feel like it would have been fair for me and anybody who was in my position, if you got the ball in the cup and then somebody goes to grab it out, you can't be like, oh, well, I didn't tell her she couldn't do it, so she can do it. Like, no. And I guarantee you people are going to agree with me. That was not fair. I'm still hurt about it. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I'm still a little tore up about it. Moving
Games can end friendships.
They can. So that's why I love beer pong. The competitiveness, the fun, the balls in the cups. It's a good time all around. So
I thought you meant the fact that they end friendships.
And that, obviously. Who needs friends? We are running a while here. So let's hop over onto news. And part of the problem with this new software that we're using is there's no clock running. So I've been timing, but I didn't start right on time. So yay us. Let's hit the news quick and let's do this. So I'm going to start with an article that I'm pulling from Eurogamer from Emma Kent. Cuphead looks like it's coming to PlayStation 4. There's a leak. It looks like it's coming. There is a Summer Game Fest event going on a couple days before this would post. So this will probably know about this already, but check it out if you're interested. Darren, you like Cuphead?
I do.
Cool. Are you going to play it again? After you did Chris dirty, after you played the whole game with Chris and then you abandoned him for the last mission, Darren?
Yeah, that's gonna stick with me for a while.
That's gonna
I just when I get obsessed about something, I can't like get off of that. But I I already have it on Switch, and I did tell Chris that if he wants to set up a share play thing, I will play through the whole game with him to make up for that.
See, that's nice
on
of
Chris
you.
now.
That's
That is
nice
of
of you because I wouldn't have. I'm the type of
Good guy,
friend
Darren.
that if we're watching a series together and I get really into it, I'm not waiting for you. And all of my friends know that.
Bye. At least you're upfront about it.
Yeah.
Destiny,
So
did
yeah,
you
keep
keep
an eye
playing?
out.
Did you keep playing Cuphead, or did you stop?
To me?
You were playing it for a while, weren't you?
I played it at someone's house and I haven't played it since then because I
Okay.
didn't buy it yet. But I will buy it. But I've been trying to play games that you guys haven't played. Like legit, I've just been trying to play indie games, so I haven't like gone back to it. Even though Cuphead is from an indie game company, but it's really big now. So
Yeah, it's
which
huge.
is good because like otherwise the whole like podcast would be like, what did you guys play? Oh, we played the same thing. Oh, cool. Let's pat each other on the back now for an hour and a half.
Good job, team, all around. All right, on to our next story. This is coming from Eurogamer as well. Tom Phillips writes, Ubisoft won't increase game prices for PS5 and Xbox Series X this autumn. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla won't cost more than their PS4 and Xbox One counterparts. And then Guillemot continues in a little bit. For the Christmas games, we plan to come out with the same price as previous generations of consoles, Guillemot said. That's what we're focused on at the moment. So we've talked about just a couple of weeks ago about how games were going up in price. At least Activision said that NBA is going to be costing more. It seems like Ubisoft, for now, has said that they're not going to follow suit, but this is obviously very carefully worded, saying we're not doing it now, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about right now, guys. We're not focusing on the future. We're just talking about
like
right now.
as of today, within this hour, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, as in like we're, like this year we're good. We're good. We're good, guys.
We'll think about it.
Darren, do you think they're going to raise next year?
I think it's a possibility. I also wanted to say that I think a big reason, like obviously, it's good. It's good that they're not increasing prices for this year. I want to make that clear. But I also think they're doing it to save face because of all the controversy that they're facing right now.
Yep.
If it wasn't for all the controversy with the sexual harassment, then they would definitely consider raising the price.
I think so too. I think it's more like people would be like, y'all over here sexually harassing people and you want us to pay extra money for the game? Like those obviously those two things have nothing to do with each other, but people would find a connection.
But when you're looking at optics from a business company, I'm sure it's something that they've considered.
Oh, definitely.
So we'll keep watching this story as it continues to evolve past right now, because that's what they're talking about. Right now, they're talking about right now. So we'll see what happens after right now.
Now, I feel great.
Right now, we're going to talk about PlayStation Plus games for August have been unveiled. This is coming from IGN, from Adam Bankhurst. Sony has announced that both Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, that's not a fucking mouthful, and Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout are the PlayStation Plus games for August 2020. COD will be available Tuesday, July 28th, so it'll be up by the time you're listening to this, and Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout will be available August 4th. Darren, this is the most excited I've been for PlayStation Plus games in a while. COD, I don't give a shit, but Fall Guys is a game that I've been looking for quite a while. For anyone who's unaware, it's basically like what happens if MXC, for anybody who remembers MXC from back in the day, which was like that massive game show where people were like running through walls.
Elimination challenge.
Or something like Wipeout, mixed with a battle royale, mixed with gang beast controls, where you're basically these brightly colored little dudes and you're basically trying to survive all these obstacles and shit to be the last one standing. I'm super excited for it. I think that giving it the Rocket League treatment, which was, Rocket League came out on PlayStation Plus and was free right away. I hope this game gets huge. People playing the beta seem really, really stoked. And you better believe that if it's possible, we're going to be doing an episode of BOB Games on it, because I can't wait to hear Destiny 100%. Shrieking about us pushing her off something.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen.
Have you seen a trailer for this, Destiny?
Nope.
We'll show you after, because it looks fucking hilarious.
Oh my god. I just feel like whenever we play games like this, you guys are going to like tag team me.
No, we're going to work together to try and win this.
If Cinna
mind,
doesn't play, I'm not playing.
No, keep in mind, D, this is us against like many other people online. So this wouldn't be just us playing. Like,
okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's us. It's like a weird platformer of you trying to get to the end of the obstacle course. You and like 100 people simultaneously pushing each other out of the way to get to the end.
60 people.
Oh, that
60
does sound
people?
kind of
Okay.
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that when that comes out. It'll be out very, very soon. There's, you know what? I'm going to save the Final Fantasy 14 stuff for next week so we can talk about it a little bit more because I know you both have feelings about it.
Yes.
And I don't want to rush this last story, which comes from Eurogamer by the way of Tom Phillips. Pokemon Go maker Niantic doubles Black Lives Matter donations to 10 million. Tom writes, Pokemon Go developer Niantic has doubled its donation to Black Lives Matter charities and initiatives from a minimum of 5 million up to a fine total of 10 million. The studio previously said it would donate all of its own proceedings from last week's GoFest 2020 event to U.S. nonprofit organizations helping Black communities rebuild and to support Black developers creating projects using its own games platform. The Pokemon company subsequently said it would match the $5 million minimum pledge. So basically what happened is Niantic had Pokemon Go Fest just last weekend, which they have had running for a couple of years now, where there are special events and games. You can go to certain parks and buy tickets to join. And this year, because of COVID, they actually made it available to anyone playing the game. You had to buy a ticket to join in online, but you were able to do that. And they said beforehand that a lot of the money that they raised will go straight to Black Lives Matter charities and initiatives, and they're backing their word. They initially said 5 million, they're now going up to 10. Pokemon Company said it would back 5 million, and we'll see if they're going to kind of respond now that Niantic has said that they're upping the pledge. I think this is fucking awesome. Destiny, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about them putting so much money into the Black Lives Matter initiative and charities, especially with everything going on, and how it kind of seems like it's kind of faded from the limelight, even though there's no way that it should have?
What I wanted to say, the fact that they are upping it after it's not quote unquote trending anymore, and they're still like, no, we're going to add more money to it. You know what I mean? That shows me that like they really care about the situation. Where a lot of companies, like, you know, since it's not trending, haven't really said anything else about it. So I might just start playing Pokemon Go. This makes me want to support them more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a huge Pokemon like fan in that way. Like, I watched the cartoon growing up, but this makes me just want to support it, even if I were to only play like, you know, 20 minutes a day. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, I want to cry. I feel kind of emotional because like it's, you know, people aren't talking about it anymore. So I was really excited when you told me that they're going to not only like come through, but like they've decided that with the response that they got and the extra money that they're going to put that towards it, because they didn't have to. So
no,
that's really great.
Is awesome. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I think it's so good because like something like this just happens and everyone's trying to jump on and support, which is obviously good. The support is needed. But so many people will just be like, let's say this right now, then like a month later, just stop talking about it completely. But only there for like the moment that it's popular, and like good on Niantic for actually sticking with it.
I also kind of want to echo what Dee said, because I think it's really easy for businesses and organizations to hop onto these things as they happen. And for me, at least, like, I guess this is where a bit of my Darren side comes in with my, like, I get a little bit pessimistic about companies kind of coming forward and being like, yeah, we support it too, because it seems like such easy publicity.
PR.
Exactly. For them to be like, oh yeah, we support it too. And then, like you said, Dee, for them to back it now where it's still very much happening. Everything that's happening in Portland is just absolutely fucking bonkers. And if you stop paying attention, go read what's happening, because there's military police in the fucking streets now, secret police, literally taking protesters off the fucking street.
Hiring police, you know? But the only thing about that is, I just wanted to say really quickly, like, I don't condone violence in any way, but if they're a hired company, that means, like, if there's anybody listening in Portland, if they fucking like come at you, you have every right to defend yourself. Like, they're not the police officers. They can't use that whole like resisting arrest or anything. Do not let these fucking hired thugs beat you down.
Exactly.
Unmarked authority figures putting people into unmarked vans.
Yes, that's fucking blowing my mind.
Every right to defend yourself.
Like, literally just taking people off the streets and then they're gone for Lord knows how long and taken to where. God knows where. So that's what I mean, because like The media stopped covering it. The only way that I'm seeing anything on more is people, posting about it on Twitter and on Facebook and on, Instagram, and kind of keeping it alive there, because I don't see it anywhere else anymore.
Yeah, the news isn't covering it anymore, really.
So that's what I mean. So for Niantic to not only say we're still in this, but to literally double their pledge, and like 5 million is like nothing to scoff at. They could have easily said like we're donating at 100,000. People would have been like, okay, that's great. But to go ahead and say not just 5 mil, but 10 million, and not just to one charity, but it seems like they're actually doing their research and splitting it up, not only against like the core Black Lives Matter Foundation, but also across other charities and for initiatives that are helping Black developers create projects. Like, that's fucking fantastic. And like, that to me is not just a shot in the arm, like a booster in the arm for saying like, here's we care. But this is also them saying we care about going forward. We care about the future of Black developers, which I think is really fucking cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well said, Matt.
Yeah. Well, go team. Dee, is there anything else that you want to touch on before we wrap up there?
No, just kind of like, if you guys, like I always say this, but if you guys have any suggestions of like games you want us to play or that you want us to showcase on our YouTube channel, please let us know. That doesn't just go for video games, obviously. Like, we're about all kinds of games. So please keep us in the know. I'm down to play like just some tabletop games with you guys.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Darren, what about you? Anything left banging around up there in that old beautiful noggin of yours?
No, I know. We always get to this segment. It's like, do you want to say anything, Darren? I'm like, no, I don't. But yeah, no, I just agree.
He's like, I still don't.
With Destiny. I still don't. Yeah. Still don't have anything. Everybody is, yeah, like I want more communication from people who listen to this, to just like hear your opinions on how we feel. Wait a minute, that
on
came
how
out
you
wrong.
feel.
I don't want to hear your opinions about how we feel. I want your opinions about how you feel. This is why I don't talk about this segment, because I'm like, I'm just gonna say something that's completely wrong.
I mean, we do it all the time. Oh, before you end, I did want to say this. I'm kind of stealing this from like a YouTuber I watch who's absolutely amazing. And she always says this at the end, and I think this is really powerful. But like, when you go, like, once you leave today and you're done listening to the podcast, just stay safe and make good choices.
Us.
And that's it.
Yes.
It's great.
That brings us to the end. The last thing that I want to say is, if anybody wants these beer pong rules, drafted, or, if anybody wants them written down, just hit me up. I'll give you the rules. It's the best way to play. It's the only way to play. That's beer pong. And that's me signing out. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all the love and support. Please like, subscribe, share. Check out our YouTube at Burnout Brighter 7. That's our YouTube. Check out our on Facebook at the Burnout Brighter Podcast. Look us over at Podbean at burnoutbrighter.podbean.com. Check us out in all those places. Tell your friends about it. And again, beer pong is life.
No.
Beer pong is life.
Bye.
We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out. All right, Craig, I hope you're listening. I hope you hear it now. I hope you feel the sound. And now I'm going to turn off the fan. How much clearer does it sound? Let's find out. Goodbye, Craig. Craig, leave.